And I'm here just to make a video as far as about my life here in Japan. And the reason why I'm making this video and just tell you who I am is because I've been answering a lot of questions here on Quora, and I would like to just share the same answer with everyone here on YouTube. So basically, I've had this application installed on my phone for maybe a couple of years, and I've actually never replied to any of the questions I've been asked. But recently, I've actually started, and I thought that maybe some other people out there would like to, hear the same answers. So I think YouTube would be the place for me to start. So basically, I've been here in Japan for about 13 and a half years. Of course, I worked here as a teacher, and that's working in some of the local English schools. I worked in elementary school. I worked at a university over here in Kobe, and I'm going to keep my name private because I'm sure some people, if they know, they probably recognize, you probably recognize my voice, but you probably, if I show my face on here, then you might know exactly who I am. So I'm going to keep that private in the meantime. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and just go over some of the questions as far as what I've been through. I've actually been through a lot here in Japan in the last 13 years. I'm not someone who's just been stuck up in the house. Not necessarily stuck in the house, but just basically I go to work, go home, and that's pretty much it. I've been out. I've done a lot. I've been in different parts of Japan, met various people, and that was one thing that I stood off for. I was one that that has met lots of people. On my Facebook, I probably have roughly 2,200 friends, and that is because I've gone out a lot. I've met so many people, and everyone pretty much knows who I am. So pretty much that's who I am in a nutshell. And I forgot to mention I'm actually from California. I forgot to mention that as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and just dive into one of the questions here. So basically, let's see. How about this one? Let's see. If you're not a foreigner, where can you go to meet foreigners living in Japan? Well, pretty good question. This was asked on the 24th. This is a question for me, so someone's probably picked my name out of the list here. So basically, my knowledge would be, so if you're not a foreigner, where can you meet some friends living in Japan, some foreign friends living in Japan? So basically, if you're this person, what you can actually do is just go out to some of the local, I would hate to say it, but go out to some of the local bars. And the thing is, in the bars, people are, drinking, and they want to meet some new people as well. You do have the crowd of people who they pretty much stick to their friends and they don't want to meet anyone outside of their little bubble that they have. But if you want to meet some foreign friends, you might occasionally meet some foreign friends who are there. They're maybe here traveling. They're probably just going out for a quick drink by themselves, and then you end up meeting them at the right time. So that is one place. I don't really like to go out to bars so much anymore, but that's where I used to meet a lot of my friends. I've met Japanese and also foreigners as well. So I would say one of the best places is to meet at some of the local bars, even some of the izakayas. So izakaya, if you're not too familiar with Japan, so izakayas are places that you can stand up. They have standing izakayas where basically you go in there and you're able to order a drink, beer, or like a whiskey on water, gas, or we call it carbonated water. You may hear gas water here in Japan. And you just sit there. You can sit there by yourself. You don't have to go in with anyone. They're relatively cheap. I mean, just depending on where you go. I'm over here in Osaka. So if you ever heard of a city called Tema, you can actually go there during happy hour and order some highballs, which is like I said, the carbonated water with whiskey for relatively cheap. And you can't really meet people in those kind of places. So you can meet people in those kind of places. It just depends. They do have seating izakayas, but they pretty much have the customer sitting in separate areas. So it's kind of hard in that sense. But the standing izakayas, you're so close with the people, it's very simple to meet people. And occasionally you will run into some foreigners in there as well, not just Japanese. The thing is, some of the foreigners. A lot of foreigners, just to give you some advice, basically some foreigners, they don't like to be asked a lot of personal questions. If you keep it casual and just, keep the conversation simple, then they'll pretty much let them open up to you rather you ask them deep questions. 'Cause a lot of foreigners, they don't like it. And, for me, myself, I'm actually used to it. Like I said, I've been here for 13 years, so I'm actually used to people asking me questions, so I don't mind. So that's pretty much that in a nutshell. Another place, of course, you can go out to your local clubs. You can go out to like some foreign meetup events. There's a thing called Why Not. So basically, Why Not is it's a kind of social group. So basically, it was set up by a lady, and she basically started inviting people maybe I don't know how she started, but she maybe started inviting some friends, and then it kind of just spread it out from there. So they have local events at some of the local clubs, local bars, or they have different areas or different places, and they do different type of events like hiking trips. They have they go on like boating trips in summer, like go off for like a little mini cruise, and they come back the same day. They have them at some local bars and clubs. Basically, the club is not open to anyone else. It's only open for that group of people, and it usually starts pretty early, like around 6 o'clock in the evening. And usually, in those cases, if you're actually in there, let's say you pay for your ticket. Usually, these wine night parties, when you pay for these tickets, you might pay about 2,000, 3,000 yen, just depending on the event, and then it's pretty much all you can drink. They have a certain menu of alcohol that you can order. You don't have to actually drink. You can order some orange juice. You can order pretty much anything, cranberry juice. In my experience. In those places, you can actually meet, Japanese and other foreigners as well. So it just depends. And if you want to stay in that place, once the club actually opens, you could just stay in there. Don't have to pay the club entry fee because the clubs here actually are pretty expensive. So you can just stay in there and party until whenever you want to leave. The bar is pretty standard. You just go in there, drink what you want to drink, and then once that time is up for the why not party, you can stay in the bar and just drink, according to the price that the bar is charging. So that's kind of a rule. They do have it at some of the big bars, like the pubs, like they call them the hubs. So they do have them they do have the parties in there sometimes, which is pretty cool. Because once the why not party is over, you can just stay in your seat and just be in the hub as a regular customer. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you can pretty much meet foreigners everywhere. I mean, like in Kobe, there's a place called Higashima. A lot of foreigners used to hang out over there. They're just kind of hanging around. It just depends. Some foreigners don't like to be approached, but some foreigners don't mind it actually. It just depends. You can meet foreigners in coffee shops. Pretty much anywhere. You just have to have the confidence and just keep the questions very simple, and don't ask don't ask deep questions. Because some people, I have a lot of foreign friends here, and a lot of them don't like to be asked, what your job is, how old are you, where you're from is actually is a good question. Where you're from, what brings you to Japan or something, asking questions like, do you like Japan? Those questions are fine, but just trying to keep the questions very simple. Oh, what brings you to Japan? Do you like Japan so far? You don't have to ask these very deep questions. Why are you here? Kind of questions. People maybe they a lot of Japanese aren't too familiar with these type of questions. Maybe they think it's okay, but just keep the questions very simple, keep them very friendly, and you will make some foreign friends. But if you're very direct, so for example, you go up to them, hey, how's it going? What's your name? My name is Takehito. I just saw you drinking by yourself. Do you have any friends coming later? If not, can I join you for a drink? And just kind of keep it simple, so do you come to this place a lot? Have you met any of the people in this place? Where do you go to meet some friends if you want to meet some friends? Just keep it very simple. When you start asking questions about jobs, I've even asked my salary, how much money you make. I've asked, what's your job? Kind of direct, I feel the question is being asked directly. I know that I mean it to be direct, but that's just how I felt because the way the question was asked. And I don't really like being asked that question as well at first, but now I don't really mind it. But some foreigners actually don't like it, so maybe you can ask that question later on. So I recommend keeping the questions very basic. Talk about some places they show sports on the TV. You ask questions about the sports. Just keep it very, very, very simple, and you'll make some foreign friends with no problems. If you've actually been to the country that the person's from. You can talk about that. Talk about your experience in their country. You can ask questions about the country. For example, if I met an Australian, I'm thinking about going to Australia. I know they have some nice beaches over there. You can ask maybe some questions about that place. Is there anything that you recommend in Australia or in England or in America, New York, wherever, California? I'm from California, so people ask me questions about California all the time. They think California is very dangerous, which is. Of course, everywhere you go is dangerous. If you are a foreigner listening to this in the future, you can look up Nishinari-ku over in Osaka. And that place, I've heard some pretty bad stories about that place. But anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna make this video too long. I just want to have an opening video and answer one of the questions here, just to show you the purpose of this YouTube channel. And maybe someday I can bring someone else in and have them answer questions as far as their experience as far as, if you're not a foreigner, where can you go to meet some foreigners living in Japan. Maybe I can bring another foreigner in here or a Japanese and get their input, and that'll make the conversation more interesting. So yeah, that's going to be it. Please stay tuned for future videos. I recommend subscribing because I will be very active on this YouTube channel, and we'll see you in the near future. Have a good day. Goodbye.